As you guys know, we're all trapped at home because of the ongoing you-know-what that we can't really say because YouTube. And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to teach my wife how to play X-Wing. So for those of you who don't know, this is my wife. Hi, wife.
Hi, husband.
What is your name?
Devin.
All right, yeah. So Devin and Dion, yeah, it's cute. People get our names confused all the time, but that's okay. Now here's my first question. Why did you agree to do this with me? I didn't force her.
Well, I figured we're stuck at home for a month or hopefully less. So why not? Also he does this thing all the time. So thought I'd get better at it. I tried it once upon a time. It was okay. I just didn't have enough time to really master it because that was right about when our daughter came around. So decided, we got the time. Let's try to get a little better at this.
Right, so one of the things when we talked about it before, it's it would be cool if you could come to the game store with me, but time, right? Because we have after school teaching stuff, and we have Arwen, of course. Just time, and now we have been given the gift of time. So this is time, yes. That's how we're choosing to look at it. So this is one of the things we're going to do. All right, I have a couple of questions for you. So she is essentially a brand new player. You've played one game of First Edition with me, but
Yes.
it was pretty guided, right? It was
And it was about 3 or 4 years ago.
Right, yeah. So it was a while ago. So brand new player. And what I'm hoping is that through this experience, two things can happen. First, you can get a lot better at X-Wing. Okay? That's number one. Number two, selfishly, I have somebody at home to play with. Okay? Absolutely selfish. Three, for those of you who are new players, you have an opportunity to see somebody going through maybe what you are going through right now, or will go through in the future, or are thinking about going through, right?
And for those of you who are experienced, you could just, get a chuckle out of it.
That's right. Or maybe at least get an idea of how to teach somebody who's brand new, right?
True.
So what is something maybe going into the game that is possibly maybe seems a little bit intimidating, you're not sure, something that maybe doesn't feel so comfortable?
Well, I remember from that one game that moving around was kind of fun, like a puzzle sort of thing, figuring out the spacing.
Mm-hmm.
But the cards were really intimidating, knowing what everything does and remembering to do it at the right time.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I would say my first mistake when trying to teach you the first time was that I gave you a bunch of cards, right? I gave you pilots that had a bunch of things, and my thought was oh, I'm gonna just give her something super powerful, but the combo stuff it was just overwhelming, like you said, and it made it so it wasn't fun.
Right.
So that's cool. Hopefully, we of course eventually need to get to the cards, but we're gonna try to take a step-by-step approach this time, and try to unfold it like a flower slowly.
Unwrap it like an onion.
There you go. There you go. The
Layers.
ogre of teaching here. All right, now of course X-Wing's a Star Wars game. Let's say in this month, right? You become, let's call you an expert or proficient in the game. Okay. We have 7 factions in the game. We have from the original movies, right? We have the Rebels, Scum and Villainy, those bounty hunters, and the Imperials. Then from the prequel factions, we have the Separatists, so those are the droids, and the Jedi, or the Grand Republic. It's mostly Jedi. You got clones in there too. And then we have on the other side the most recent trilogy, the sequel trilogy, which is First Order and Resistance. So just from what you enjoy in Star Wars, what would you say is maybe the faction you would lean towards once you become proficient in the game?
I would say Resistance, totally.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
100.
You do you want to express why?
Well, I know we're talking about Star Wars, so everyone loves to hate about Star Wars, but I love the fact that Rey is a strong female character. Our daughter looks up to her, And I believe the Resistance is a really well-rounded cast of characters. And, you know, it's just, I think would be fun. So I know those characters the best also.
Okay. Now, again, we've been throwing out this month because that's about how long we're going to be at home. What do you think, what's going to be like your goal? Like in 1 month, how like good do you think you want to be in 1 month? Us playing like maybe every other day. Probably don't have time to do it every day, but you know.
I was going to say world domination.
Okay. Fair.
But maybe I could win a game for real.
Okay. All right. Like
And not letting me win.
Not letting you win. All right. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. So let's talk about your first game.
Okay.
Let's talk about our first game that we're going to play tonight. And I've already made the lists. And this one is definitely, it is tailored for you to win. If you don't win, something went terribly wrong.
Okay.
Okay. So
Hopefully I win.
So I'm going to be flying 4 TIE fighters that I'm going to make you chase around the board.
Okay.
Okay. And that's just so that you can practice moving the ship. You said that's what you enjoyed, right? So solving that puzzle and trying to being able to eyeball the things on the table. As for your ships, now this might sound like a lot. I'm going to give you 5 different ships.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to give you 5 ships, and they're all different. And the reason I wanted to give you 5 different ships is I think you're really smart. So I figured you could handle, like I would say for some people, you maybe want to start with maybe a few ships that are all the same. So they all do the same thing. But I wanted to give you a little bit of options and have the challenge of just being able to like see ship, identify the card. Now, I'm going to have a couple tools there for you, some color coordination and things like that. But overall, the goal is just to get that experience of being able to put different ships on the table and just have some fun going pew-pews.
Cool.
Now, it's not quite Resistance. It's actually the Rebellion. But I think they're the most like vanilla ships out of all of them. So
Thanks.
I figure, I don't know, they are. It's true. I mean, Resistance is not vanilla, but you need a bunch of cards to really make them like really powerful.
Yeah.
So this is the easiest way to get you what honestly is what I would be a little bit afraid to see on the table with a lot of squads if flown by somebody really, really skilled. And we're going to keep that squad for at least 4 or 5 games until you become really, really comfortable, and then we'll start adding on a couple of things. We'll put the squad here. You should be able to see it now on your screen.
Just put some seasoning on it.
There you go. And do you have any questions about your team? Let's just do it, I guess, and see what happens.
Sorry for the awkward silence
It's
there.
okay.
I'm just like, it's like that math meme. It's like, I'm just, what do I ask? So just kind of let's do it.
Okay, and now what I want you to do, audience at home, what are some helpful tips and tricks that you could put in the comment section right now for Devin? Because I think the goal here is after you become really proficient, we're going to stream some games. We're going to stream some games live. We're going to do it live.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing, right? A little bit of worst case scenario. If we are social distancing for longer than anticipated, we can still create live content for Gold Squadron, and at the same time, you learn X-Wing, and they get to go on the journey, and we all learn together. It's a beautiful ecosystem. I don't know why I did this. This doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
X-Wings?
Yeah, ships flying in and out in cool patterns. All right. So here's the game.